What is BIM coordination? The definition of the word coordination is the organization of the different elements of a complex activity so as to enable them to work together effectively. The complex activity we are going to discuss here is the management of information related to buildings or infrastructure, or BIM, building information modeling. Information management, or BIM coordination, when the information relates to buildings or infrastructure, is not a job title or a specific role. Information management, or BIM coordination, is a function that everyone that is involved in the planning, design, construction and operations of buildings or infrastructure has to participate in. That is because every person and every discipline is involved with information. You need information in order to do your job, and in doing your job, you are probably producing or providing information that others will need to do the job. If you are engaged in the planning, design, construction or operations of buildings or infrastructure, then you are involved in the communication or exchange of information, which is the function of information management, or BIM coordination. So whether you are a client representative, architect, engineer, contractor, project manager, cost manager, design manager, procurement specialist, safety manager, quality manager, environmental manager, facilities manager, specialist contractor, fabricator, building product supplier, etc., you are involved in the function of information management, or BIM coordination, since we are talking specifically about information management of buildings and infrastructure, as opposed to general information management. The confusion has arisen because some people believe incorrectly that BIM is only about the production of 3D models, and therefore BIM coordination is just about coordinating those 3D models, or what is called clash detection. But that is a very limited view of BIM and BIM coordination. The international standard ISO 19650 has a far wider definition of BIM, which includes all information that describe the physical and functional aspect of buildings and infrastructure. This includes 3D models, geometric data, alphanumeric data, and documentation, all managed in a common data environment, CDE. In that definition of BIM, every person or discipline that either needs information or who provides information has to engage with the management function of the CDE process. Of course, there are still hierarchies of management within the function of information management, from the client, owner, employer, appointing party, all the way through to the people who ultimately produce or provide the information, the BIM authors. There needs to be an information manager within each organization that is participating in a project, contributing to a specific task or discipline of work. These are called task information managers. They take responsibility for the information their own organization produces and approve it for sharing in the CDE. Then there is an information manager who takes responsibility for a delivery team, a group of organizations, in a specific phase or stage. For example, this could be the lead designer for the design delivery team, or the main contractor for the construction delivery team, or the facilities manager for the operations delivery team. In each case, they are the lead appointed party, responsible for the delivery of that phase, and they need an information manager, who will liaise with the other individual task information managers for the overall coordination of information for that phase or stage. Of course, the client, owner, employer, appointing party also needs to have their own information manager, who will ultimately receive the information from the delivery team, will need to check, approve and accept that information, so that it is authorized for use by others, published in the CDE, Common Data Environment. This diagram describes the function of information management and the flow of information. The requirements for information flow from the appointing party, down, in the diagram, through the hierarchy, to the BIM authors, who will produce the information. The information flows back up the hierarchy, in the CDE, being checked and accepted at each stage. Requirements also flow from right to left, in the diagram. In other words, the operations team should let the construction team know what they will need to perform the job, and the construction team should let the design team know what they will need to perform the job. The information flows from left to right to meet those requirements. So you can see that information management is not the job or role of one person. It is a function that is spread across all roles and disciplines who engage with the information. Any project team that thinks you only need to hire one BIM coordinator for the project to manage everything has no idea how information management works. Since the management of information relates specifically to buildings and infrastructure, involves the organization of the different elements of a complex activity so as to enable them to work together effectively. This is, by definition, BIM coordination.